Hello, my darling, and welcome to day 13 of 100 Days of Self-Love. Today, we are talking all about making peace with your broken pieces. Because it's really important. We tend to feel like once we've been broken, as in damaged, hurt, something tragic has happened, a relationship has ended, we felt completely broken for whatever reason, that once we've been broken, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more, we feel like we then become worth less. We love ourselves less because we're not whole anymore. We're not, we don't feel like we're untainted, unspoiled, undamaged. So I need to put the record straight on this one. And this is a really beautiful concept. If you just bear with me and wrap your brain around it, you will learn to love it as much as I do. So there's a concept in Japanese culture called kintsugi. Kin meaning gold and sugi meaning to mend. And what they do as I say, in Japan is if they have, for example, a beautiful bowl and it's made of china and it gets broken, in the Western culture, we'd either throw it away or we would mend it as invisibly as possible. We would try and mend it with super glue, and then we would turn the broken bits away from people's eyes, which is a metaphor for how we treat ourselves. We either give up on ourselves, or we try and invisibly mend ourselves so that no one can see the break, no one can tell that we're broken. We don't want people to see our scars. We don't want people to think that, the surface isn't smooth. Whereas in Japan, what they do is they mend broken pottery with gold, thus making it not just more beautiful, because it would be, right? It's a work of art to mend something with gold. It's also more valuable, and it's also more unique. And they do that to celebrate the piece, not to waste it and to make it more individual. And this is, I think, such an amazing metaphor for our lives. Some of my favorite women on the planet genuinely have been through so much, like horrors and tragedies and trauma, and they've mended themselves, and they've become these wise, encompassing, generous, kind spirits. And they don't hide, they don't necessarily broadcast it, but they don't hide from their cracks, their scars. They celebrate them, and they're aware of them, and they let people see them. But it's not a shame. It's not something we don't talk about. Most of the wholehearted women I know are vulnerable enough and courageous enough to say, this is my story, this is what happened to me. And for me, for example, obviously, if you're a member of my life coaching group, if you're not, it's Life Coaching for Women by Kate Grosvenor on Facebook. If you go to the top of that group and you look at the pinned video, that's my story. I don't put it into YouTube or anything like that, because it could trauma some people. It's quite a traumatic story, and there's a lot that's happened to me in my life. But I tell people openly, because I feel like, well, I am better for having gone through those things. I am the coach that I am today because I've been through all those things, and I know what it feels like. I know what it feels from the inside. So I never coach from like, oh, I'm better than you and my life is imperfect. I coach from you from down in the trenches, saying, I know how this feels. And so my scars are very visible to people, but usually that's why people connect with me, because they can see the scars, and they can see how good I feel about my life, or how good my life actually looks, right? So the point is that when we make peace with our broken pieces, we can put ourselves back together. We can make ourselves so much more valuable, and just have this growth and this wisdom that comes from having gone through stuff in life. There's an old saying that, smooth waters don't make for good sailors. And it's very true. It's the same in our lives. Everything in life is a lesson or a blessing. And if you're willing to look at every situation, and instead of saying that's broken me, that's breaking me again, that's destroying me, that's pulling me down, if you can just have that mindset, that little switch that says, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I learning from this? How can I grow from this experience? How can I grow from this knowledge? And then you can use your knowledge to help other women and pay it forward as well. It's a thing of beauty, absolute beauty. So what I want you to understand is that whatever's happened to you has happened. And I'm really sorry that it has. If you've had tragedy and trauma in your life, I'm so sorry for you. And I wish it hadn't happened to you, genuinely. But we have to accept that that's what happened. That's what is. Okay? And then when we accept what happens, what is, we have to love ourselves for who we are, not who we wish we were before this thing happened. And at no point do you say, oh, it's okay that this thing happened or these things happened. It's not about saying it's my fault, taking responsibility, taking accountability for things that don't belong to you, because you're not accountable for things that other people have done to you. But you are responsible for making peace with it. You are responsible for making healing, for healing yourself. I do a workshop every few months called Komorebi, which deals with all of this kind of healing and self-love and making peace. Again, it's another weird Japanese word. I say weird, it's not weird to me, but it's a beautiful Japanese word, because komorebi is, if you go through the woods and you go, when you go into those woods that are really, really dark and there's just no light in them whatsoever, and yet there's always, if you look up and you look to the gaps between the trunk of the tree and the branches and the leaves, there's always some dappled sunlight that comes through, right? And if you lift your head up, you'll always see it. And if you follow that dappled light, you'll get to out of the wood again. And that's why I call my workshop on healing Komorebi, because there's always hope, there's always light. And if you follow the light, you get out of the darkness, okay? I'll put the link below so you can, I'm not sure when the next one will be. But yeah, it's saying, I know this happened. It did happen to me. I'm not forgiving, or I'm not forgetting that this happened. I should forgive. That's another thing about healing. We can look at that another day. But it did happen to me. But I'm not going to be at war with the pieces, because if I put myself back together with gold, if I look after myself and celebrate it and don't try and hide it, don't live in shame, I become more unique and more valuable and just so much more beautiful. I hope that helps, my darlings. I'll put the links below if you want to sign up for the worksheets that go along with this video, and I'll pop the link in there for the Komorebi workshop as well, and my website. So if you want to know anything about my one-to-one coaching, you can book a discovery call in with me on my website, or the other coaching programs that I do, and all the workshops are on there as well. I hope that helps, my darling. I will see you tomorrow for day 14. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.